Let's start with rolling the shoulders back, taking your time, changing direction, nice and slowly. And then taking the arms in front, tucking the thumbs in, wrapping the fingers around the thumb, and circling one way and the other way. Palms facing the floor, swiveling the fingers from side to side, working on the wrists, and then fingers up and down, up and down. Turning the hands over, touching the shoulders, we're working up through the joints. And then circling the elbows, circling them back. See if you can bring the elbows towards each other, maybe even to touch at the front. As the elbows come up, looking up, and as the elbows go down, looking down. Moving the neck, changing direction, and we're going to curl over a little bit more as the elbows come down this time. Still looking up as the elbows come up, but curling over, moving into the back. And then stretching the arms out to each side, turning the hands all the way back and all the way forwards, working from the shoulders. And then let's scissor the arms, bending at the elbows, taking one arm in front of the other. Doesn't matter if just the elbows connect, lifting the elbows up, pushing them away from you so you get that stretch across the upper back. And then taking the arms down, let's do the same on the other side. So scissoring the arms again, other elbow on top, lifting the elbows up, and try looking up, and often you can lift a little bit higher. And then unravelling. And we're going to come into a twist, left hand behind, right hand to the left knee, sitting tall. Let's go to the other side. Right hand behind, and keep the right hand quite close behind you so it's helping you to sit upright rather than sort of leaning back onto it. And then returning to come back. I'm going to bring the palms together and reach the hands high, and then arms coming down. So I want you to focus on lifting the rib cage up away from the pelvis, finding some length through the body. And we're going to lead with the elbows this time. So still breathing in, reaching high, but then pushing back with the elbows and then into the sides. Take the arms up and down. And then taking the hands behind the back, we're going to lift the hands away from the back and then straighten the arms. So you're trying to keep the hands away from the back, a little bit of a gap, so it's working on the range of movement in the shoulders. Might feel quite strong on the shoulders. And you can swap which hand is in front each time. And then let's do something similar behind the head, so one hand behind the other, taking the elbows back and lifting the hands away from the back of the head, and then opening the arms straight. So you could breathe in to open, breathe out to return, trying to keep the hands off the back of the head without taking the head forwards. Resting the arms down. And let's think about the neck, dropping the chin down, then chin to the left shoulder, left ear to the left shoulder, slowly round the back, right ear to the right shoulder, chin to the right shoulder, and chin to the chest. Let's go again, chin to the left shoulder, left ear to the left shoulder, all the way round the back, right ear to the right shoulder, chin to the right shoulder, and chin to the chest. Go the same way again, ear, and then slowly round the back, right ear over the shoulder, chin to the right shoulder and over the chest, and then back the other way, chin to right shoulder, ear to right shoulder, slowly round the back, left ear to left shoulder, chin, coming back to the chest. Let's go that way again. So just really working to stretch the whole of the neck out. One more time. chin to right shoulder, right ear to right shoulder, slowly round the back, left ear to left shoulder, chin to left shoulder, and chin to chest. Now let's take the legs straight out in front. I'm going to push away through the heels and then relax. Pushing away through the heels and relaxing. And then circling at the ankles, one way and the other way. And then crossing the legs again, but with the other leg to normal in front to keep balance through the hips. And we're going to come into a side stretch. So left arm out to the left, right arm over the head. And it helps to have a bit of bend in the elbow, so you can go a little bit deeper, try and let the left shoulder relax away from the head. And you might be able to go a little deeper still before coming up. Let's go out to the other side, right hand to the floor, left arm over the head, and seeing as you relax into it, if you can go a little further, it doesn't matter if not. And coming back to the centre, let's swap from side to side, so you could breathe in one way and breathe out the other way. Breathing in one way and breathing out the other way. It's helping to relax the lower back. And then taking the feet flat on the floor with the knees bent up a little bit wider than hip height, leaning back on your hands, and we're going to tip the knees from side to side, so it's like a little twist in the lower back. Only go as far over to the side as feels comfortable. You don't need to take the knee all the way over to the floor. And then we're going to pause on the left side and take the right arm over our head, stretching through the right side. And then let's do the same to the other side. Left arm reaching up over the head, stretching through the side and coming out. And then keeping the feet flat on the floor, we're going to hold onto the knees and slump as if we're on our sofa at home, and then sit up tall. So you could breathe in as you rise up through the chest and breathe out to round. And let's do the same, but with a side saddle position, so both feet to the left. Try and keep the knees down, tipping back and breathing in to sit up tall. Breathing out to curl, can just be a tiny movement, breathing in to lift. And then coming into a twist, taking the right hand behind, left hand to the knee, and trying to relax back into your left hip as much as you can so the pelvis is even. And then if that's comfortable, we're going to go a bit deeper into the twist by squeezing the left buttock to come up and then relaxing back down. So you're squeezing the left buttock, lifting up away from the cushion and then settling back. Let's do that one more time. Well done. And then to swap sides, I bring my weight forwards and switch the feet over to the right side of the cushion. Bring the weight back, hands onto the knees to keep the knees down as you curl back and then lift up. So breathing in as you lift through the chest, breathing out to round. It's like you're slumping in your sofa at home, but it's using all the muscles around the pelvis to keep the pelvis stable. And then let's come to the twist on the other side, left hand behind, right hand to the knee, trying to have the weight as even as possible, so relaxing, and then squeezing the right buttock to lift up. So as you squeeze the right buttock, you're tipping over onto the left hip. Let's do that one more time. And then we'll come out of the twist and move our legs to bring the soles of the feet together. And we're going to start with a really little movement. So I'm just taking my toes away from each other and then closing them to touch again. And you should feel it into the arch, up into the calf muscles as you open and close the toes. And then let's squeeze the soles of the feet together and you'll feel the legs activating, knees might lift slightly, and then let go. So pushing the soles of the feet together and release. And then interlacing the fingers, we're going to stir the hands around. And this helps to work into the pelvic floor. So your weight will shift from one hip to the other. And then changing direction. So this works into the pelvic floor. moving on to all fours. So we're going to have the hands underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips, starting by rounding the back, head heavy, breathing in to lift the head a little. This is just such a good basic movement for relaxing your back. So you can give the back a good stretch out. So you're breathing out, rounding, breathing in to lift the head. And let's try sitting back onto the feet. You might need to take the knees a bit wider. We're going to scoop forwards. So breathing out to sit back, breathing in to come forwards and up. It's up to you how far back you come. You can do a much smaller movement if you prefer. And just feeling how the movement is different through the spine, lots of movement through the pelvis. And we're going to go the other way. So we're bending the elbows to bring the chest towards the floor, sitting back onto the feet and rounding the back to come up. Bending the elbows to come down, back onto the feet, rounding to come up. Let's do that again. And then bring the knees back in. I'm going to come up into downward dog, so some bend in the knees when you first come up, and you can pedal on the spot. So if you're happy to stay there, pedaling, letting the head relax down, looking back between the legs. Otherwise you can stay on the hands and knees and do a few more rounds of the cat. If you want a variation, you can come up onto tiptoes and then sink the heels down, and then slowly bend the knees back down to the ground. And we'll give the wrists a rest, coming down onto the forearms, let the head relax. And we're going to do the golden thread breath, so breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Making the exhalation as long and slow as you can. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. See how relaxed you can make your face. Hopefully with the pelvis tipped forwards, the pelvic floor is also relaxed, and you can make that association. Let's come back up onto the hands and knees. We're going to come into another downward dog, but this time with the hands and feet wider apart. So exactly like before, if it feels good, you can bend one knee and the other knee, pedaling on the spot, but just see how it feels different with the feet and hands wider. If you prefer it like this, always do it like this. You can also come up onto tiptoes again, and then sinking the heels down. And then bringing the knees back down towards the ground. So we're going to move into a kneeling position to build up a sequence. So let's start with the first part, coming into a high kneel and then lowering down. So breathing in to come up, we're using the buttocks and the front of the thighs to lower back down as we breathe out. Breathing in to lift and out to lower with control. Let's do that one more time. This time we're folding forwards though, so we're sitting back onto the feet. We're going to try and come up with the arms by our ears and then lower back down to where we started. So breathing in to lift into the high kneel, folding forwards. You can have the knees as wide as you need to make it comfortable. Breathing in to come back and out to lower down. Let's do that again. Breathing in, out to fold forwards. Breathing in to come back and out to sit onto the feet. And then we'll add in a cat. So we're going to fold forwards like before, but this time breathing in to come into cat, lifting the head. Breathing out to round the back and sitting straight back onto the feet, ready to come into the high kneel, sitting back to where we started. So breathing in to lift up, out to fold forwards. Breathing into cat, lifting the head, out to round the back and sit back onto the feet. Breathing in to lift to the high kneel and out to lower down. Breathing in and out, into cat, out to round and sit back. Breathing into the high kneel and out to lower down. Let's add one more part into it. Breathing in and out. Breathing into cat, lifting the head, out to round the back, but this time tucking the toes under, lifting the knees from the floor into dog, not staying there, bring the knees back down, sitting onto the feet. Breathing into the high kneel and out to lower down. Let's do it again, breathing in, out to fold all the way forwards, breathing into the cat, lifting the head, out to round the back, tucking the toes under, out to bring the knees back down, sitting back onto the feet, breathing in to come to the high kneel, and out to sit down. Let's bring the hands to your heart, just taking a moment to let the heart rate settle, tuning into your baby. Bring one hand down to your bump and feeling how your breath is soothing you and your baby at the same time. Your baby is aware of the sound of your breath, the sound of your heartbeat. And then opening the eyes, getting ready to come up, so walking the hands back towards the feet into a forward bend. You can have as much bend in the knees as you want to make it comfortable, feet as wide as you want, and then hands onto the legs to help you come up all the way up to standing. And just moving any cushions out the way so you won't trip over them. Let's have the feet underneath the hips, coming into tiptoes, stretching out the feet, and then taking the feet a bit wider to come into a side stretch, so left arm reaching up, coming over to your right. You can have the hand on your hip or just let the arm dangle, it's up to you. Let's come to the other side, so right arm reaching up this time, coming over to your left, and you can either have the hand on your hip or arm relaxing and dangling, up to you. Let's come again to each side, so taking the left arm up, coming over to the right. This time we're going to turn the head, so first looking down over the right shoulder and then looking up towards the ceiling. And then return to the centre, right arm reaching up, coming over to your left, looking down over the left shoulder and then up towards the ceiling and returning. And then from here, let's turn the feet out slightly. We're going to come into our squats, sitting back. So just check the knees are pointing the same direction as the toes. It's up to you how deeply you squat. Let's bring the arms into it as well. Big breath in to come up. So you're driving through the feet to return. And again, I'm going to do a variation going down in thirds. 1, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3, and up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3, and up, 2, 3. And then bringing the feet back together, we're going to come into a balance, so turning your left knee out to the side, and you can either keep your toes on the ground or have your foot on the lower leg. Try and really push down through the right leg to stand tall, palms coming together. And try not to hold your breath while you're balancing. I'm going to breathe in to take the hands up, bend at the elbows to take the hands behind the head, breathing in to return, and out to bring the hands down. Let's do the arms again. Breathing in to come up, out to take the hands behind, breathing in to reach up, and out to bring the hands in front of the chest. Side, so right knee turning out, either toes on the ground or foot below the knee, standing tall, hands lifting, and then taking the hands behind the head, breathing in to come up again, and out in front of the chest. Let's do it again. Breathing in to reach up, out to bend at the elbows, hands behind the head, breathing in to lift up, and out to come down, and bring your foot to the floor. And from here we're going to come all the way down to the ground, so you might want a cushion for under your head. So making your way carefully down, we're going to lie on your right side to begin with, and you can either have your head on the pillow or you can prop your head up on your hand if you like. So bending at the knee, and we're going to lift the top knee up towards the ceiling, keeping the top hip still. So we tend to rock back to make it easier, but you can have your hand on your hip to remind yourself to keep the hip as still as you can, lifting the knee against it. And you should feel the work sort of into the bottom. And then stretching out your top leg, push away through the heel, lifting the outside of the foot up towards the ceiling, only about the level of a chair seat. Lowering down as you breathe out, and then breathing in to lift the heel, big toe to come down. So we've changed the angle of the leg, leading with the heel, big toe to come down. And then cycling action. So imagine you've got your foot on a pedal, cycling around. You can make it small if you prefer. And then super glue the knees together and work to lift both feet off the floor. So a little bit of a twisting action. And then we'll do the same on the other side. You can just roll over if you like, but I'm going to change sides so you can still see me. So coming down to lie on the other side, knees bent, hips in line with the ankles, lifting the top knee and lowering down. So again, try to resist the urge to tip the top hip back to make it easier. And then straightening the top leg out, leading with the outside of the foot to lift up, and then lowering down. You can breathe in to lift and out to lower. Change the angle of the foot, leading with the heel to come up, big toe to lower down. Breathing in and out, in and out. And then knees together on the ground, lifting just the feet. A little bit of a twisting action. You can still breathe in to lift and breathe out to lower. And then we're going to finish with a little relaxation. You can bring a hand to your bump. Being comfortable, you can always put another cushion between your knees if you like. And we're going to practice the resting breath. So breathing in, counting to 3, and breathing out, counting to 4 or more. Breathing in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, I am calm. Breathing out, I am calm, I am relaxed. Breathing in, I am calm. Breathing out, I am calm, I am relaxed. Continuing with the words or the counting, letting the exhalation be longer and slower. Letting your breath soothe you and your baby together. Breathing in and a longer breath out. This is precious time with your baby. And if you've got the time, you could now go to do a yoga nidra, but if you need to get up and get on with something, rubbing a hand over your belly, having that last moment of connection with your baby before you get on with your day. Gradually coming up to sit. Thank you for joining me.